Path of Exile 3.29 is being called a caster patch, and streamers already expect Winter Orb to take over the league. But look past the hype, and the creators covering this patch are split on a harder question. Did GGG actually fix self-cast, or just build 3 or 4 spectacular exceptions? Here's what's already confirmed before we get into the speculation. Winter Orb now fires 2 to 3 projectiles as the gem levels instead of always 1, and it gained a 25% chance to freeze plus a base critical strike chance of 7.5%, up from 6%. Regular Ethereal Knives now fires 10 to 15 projectiles. Its base critical strike chance jumped from 6% to 10%. Its added damage effectiveness rose from 220% to 250%, and its quality now grants projectile speed instead of extra projectiles. Ethereal Knives of the Massacre, the Nova version most current players map with, received only the critical strike change from 6% to 10%, and not the wider damage package regular Ethereal Knives got. Physical spells broadly moved to a 10% base critical strike chance in 3.29, Blade Blast, Blade Vortex, Ethereal Knives, Void Sphere, Unearth, and Dark Bargain all now sit at 10%, up from 6 or 7%. Reduced mana cost is being replaced by mana cost efficiency, which has diminishing returns. Rings can no longer roll reduced mana cost at all, and Archmage's added lightning dropped from 10 to 16% of unreserved mana down to 8 to 14. Wrathpith Globe's increased spell, critical strike chance, and spell damage per 100 maximum life both dropped from 5% to 3%, one of several direct nerfs to life stacking. First, the mood. This patch landed better than most expected. Why do even the patch's harsher critics still call 3.29 a good league? Is their excitement actually about spells at all? When a creator trashes a spell buff but still can't wait to play, what are they really reacting to? The sockets, the corruption changes, the new chase items? Across every source, the overall reaction is positive. The socket color rework, the corruption changes, Vestigial uniques, the Legion and Abyss reworks, and more content than people expected. Negative takes on individual spells sit inside a patch creators are broadly happy with. Keep those two things separate. The one build everyone names Winter Orb. Winter Orb now fires more base projectiles, so you can drop greater multiple projectiles for a pure damage support. How far does that one swap snowball a league start? Every source expects it to be the most played spell, but does most played mean strongest, or just most comfortable and most nostalgic? This is the closest thing to consensus in the whole patch. Creators throw around figures like 60 to 80% more damage, but those rest on assumptions about projectile overlap and pact interactions. Treat them as predictions, not a number. The real risk is overhype. Players remember Synthesis era Winter Orb, and power charge gear could get expensive fast. The sleepers, Ethereal Knives, and the physical crit spells. Regular Ethereal Knives got the whole package, more crit, more effectiveness, more projectile speed. So is it a league starter, or a week 2 build for once you have gear? The version most current players actually map with is EK of the Massacre, which only got the crit bump. So does the headline EK got buffed quietly point at the wrong gem? The softcore-trade read is that EK becomes exceptional with heavy investment, while the speedrunner calls it mediocre through the campaign, and both can be right because they're judging different stages of the game. The honest version names the gem. The big buffs are on regular Ethereal Knives, not the Nova clearing Massacre most mappers run today. Now the real argument, did GGG fix self-cast or not? Most weak spells got maybe 10 to 30% more damage or a quality of life tweak, not the near double some skills saw in the melee rework. So is that enough to move them into the meta? If a handful of spells become strong while the rest stay roughly where they were, is that a fixed archetype or just a few loud exceptions? This is where creators genuinely disagree, and the video shouldn't pretend otherwise. One camp sees Winter Orb, physical crit spells, and new ascendancy tools as a real revival. Another sees piecemeal buffs on a spell list that mostly still has the same problems. Nobody in the sample thinks the patch is bad, they disagree on whether it's ambitious. The 2 catches mana and the pack gamble. Reduced mana cost became mana cost efficiency with diminishing returns, and Archmage got trimmed. So do the spell buffs actually survive their own mana bill? Pact-gems look powerful, but they're exceptional gems with no campaign version, an unknown price, and an extra button to press. Does mathematical power really translate into what people play? Mana is the most repeated technical worry in the sample. The takeaway isn't that spells can't be cast, it's that a league starter now needs a deliberate mana plan, and the Pact-gems are a genuine unknown. A 1 divine gem and a 20 divine gem create completely different leagues, and plenty of players skip strong builds just to avoid an extra button. It isn't only spells, assassin corruption and the league reworks. Assassin's new bifurcated crits reward builds that overshoot crit chance, and physical spells now sit at 10% base. So is the Ascendancy, not any single skill the biggest spell winner. Corruption changes, Vestigial uniques, and the Legion and Abyss reworks got the warmest reactions of all. Are the league systems, not the gem numbers, what's really carrying the hype. The strongest positive agreement in the sample isn't about a spell at all. It's corruption crafting, Vestigial unique discovery, and reworked Legion and Abyss farming. Assassin is a clear winner too, with one catch. The best Forbidden Jewel setups could cost a fortune, so that ceiling mostly belongs to wealthy players. And the losers, life stacking Breach and Totems. Wrathpith Globe's spell scaling per life dropped from 5 to 3% alongside other hits. Is the long reign of life stacking finally over? Breach density is down, the Genesis tree is trimmed, and totem supports took bigger penalties. How much of the old farming and build meta quietly got worse? These are the clearest nerfs in the sample, and creators mostly saw them coming. Life stacking, breach, and totems each step down a tier. One quieter economy worry, with Mirage gone, Scarab supply may tighten, and the betrayal buffs might not fully cover it. Streamer sentiment on 3.29 is positive, but their confidence in the spell rework is not. Winter Orb looks real, Assassin looks real, several physical spells look real. Whether the average self-cast skill is meaningfully better, especially at league start, is the question the patch notes still haven't answered.